Hello, grade 10s. Welcome to your next section of mammalian tissues. Alright, so now we're going to get onto bone. Alright, so bone's also part of all of the tissues. Super important. It's also connecting tissue, even though it isn't really that, like, doesn't really make that much sense because you think to yourself, it's more for like structure and shape. It, to a large extent, it's really mainly just for connecting the whole body parts, all the body parts together. So your arms to your abdomen, your legs to your abdomen, and how all of them actually sort of interlink is really important. But we're going to focus on what it looks like on the inside and how it functions from there on out. All right, so what is bone? It's a hard and rigid tissue. The word rigid comes up quite often. Please understand, and you've heard the word rigid in, what is that section of work that you do in grade 9? Technology. So you know that rigid means that it doesn't move a lot. It is strength and all those other bits and pieces. So it consists of living cells with large amounts of ground substance or matrix. Okay, so the living cells are called osteocytes. Osteo meaning of the bone, cyte meaning cell. So cells of the bone, osteocytes, with a large amount of ground substance or matrix. We're not going to give the word the matrix a specific name. You just need to know that there is a lot of it, okay? But then our favorite friend, little collagen fibers, rocks up. Notice that all connective tissues have collagen fiber again. Together with the bones, constitute the organic living matter of the bone tissue. So there is a really scary looking structure on the right hand side over there. Hope this all haunts you because you will be expected to be able to draw that. Yes, that. No, I'm lying, not that. There's an easier version of that coming up a little bit later. But I mean, that is what, if I took a long bone, okay, so I took my bone and I cut it down. So let's say you took your forearm, you cut towards the ground if you're holding it up, and you looked at it from the front. This is what you would look. This is what it would look like. Obviously, it's not black and white, but we'll talk about all the different structures in a bit. So it shows a definite and characteristic pattern of arrangement. So one of those individual circles is known as a pattern of arrangement. The ground substance of the bone is in concentrated layers. Okay, do you notice that there are rings? Okay, and those rings, each one of those bands, okay, those like rings, are called a lamella around small canals called the Haversian canal. So in this particular diagram, that dark black spot in the center of each one of those circles is called the Haversian canal. Each Haversian canal is surrounded by concentric layers of bone matrix or lamella, and the concentric rings of bone forming osteoblasts. So we'll deal with osteoblasts and osteoclasts a little bit later. Yeah, osteoblast and osteoclast. Okay, osteoblasts are cells that make bone, and osteoclasts destroy bone or break bone apart. So you can have two different kinds of osteocytes, and they are osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Alrighty, so there is a very simplistic structure over there. I don't recommend you draw that one. You can draw that one if it is easier. So maybe if you want to go back a little bit later, you're more than welcome to draw this one. But I have a better diagram a little bit later with some annotations about each and every single one of those. So what are some of the things that we've mentioned already? You can see that the lamella over there, and you can see the Haversian canal right in the center. So bone cells remain alive once they are completely surrounded by hard bone matrix, and they are called osteocytes. Osteocytes are embedded in fluid-filled cavities with concentric lamella. What is the fluid-filled cavity called again? Yes? Yeah. Trying to get the right answer? Yeah. No one? No one? Okay. Remember, they are called the lacuna. All right. Fluid-filled. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner of that diagram, you'll see the lacuna over there. So it is just a way of safeguarding and stopping these osteocytes from actually smashing against this extremely hard bone, and they just allow for like communication between them as well. But now remember as well, you need to think about this because something needs to be able to have a conversation, or there needs to be communication between those osteocytes of the bone as well. So those are what those little mini canaliculi things are over there. So let's have a look at them. The cavities are known as lacuna and occur at regular intervals in the concentric layers of bone. All right, so you can quite clearly see the purple/pink, I don't know, fuchsia color structures over there. Each one of those is a lacuna, and inside of that is an osteocyte. Okay, so you can see that they form these rings, and each ring is a lamella. So the lacuna are connected to one another and the Haversian canal by a system of interconnecting canals known as the canaliculi. Alrighty, so there needs to be a way that what is inside of the Haversian canal, which is a red blood cell, I was thinking of the colors earlier, an artery, a vein, and a nerve. Okay, you need to have all three of those in case the bone breaks. There needs to be a way of the body actually indicating that something has gone wrong. And the way that it does that is through that nerve, and also communication occurs through the arteries and veins, and also those cells need to be kept alive, so they need to have nutrients. So the way that those nutrients can actually get into the lacuna where the osteocytes are found is through those canaliculi. Then we have the Haversian system. So this is the entire thing. This is a slightly more squished version of what you were looking at earlier. So we have the Haversian canal, and inside over there are 4 tubes. There's a nerve, there is an artery, a vein, and a lymphatic vessel. We'll talk about the lymphatic vessels later. I'm not too phased about them right now. Then on the we have concentric lamella, and the lamella are as the bone grows. So think of how a tree grows from the center, and every year it solidifies its most outer layer. That is pretty much how bones grow. But this is not the bone itself. There are multiple of these all over the place, like in that first diagram and in the second diagram, third diagram I showed you. So on the outside, we have the osteoblasts. So those are going to be producing more matrix, and they are on the furthest outside component because they want to extend the bone laterally, not like longwise. And then we have osteoclasts. In case something goes wrong with the bone, it can actually start to break apart some of it. Then we have the lacuna with their osteocytes. You can see those pale blue layers on the inside. And then finally we have the canaliculi. All right, so what are the functions of bone and tissue? They support, they also make up the skeleton. They're there for protection. Think of your what do you call these things? Your ribs. Think of this thing, which is your skull. They're also used for locomotion. Okay, so locomotion means moving. Think of the word locomotive. All right, so bone tissue forms a system of levers which voluntary muscles are attached, and we'll talk about muscle next. Manufacturing of blood cells. So the red blood cells manufactured in red bone marrow, situated in the spongy tissue at the end of long bones. All right, and I think I've included what it looks like at the end. Then, oh, damn it, I need to include another part, but I'll add in the diagram after this. This is what we're looking at, so just so you can see the whole thing. We have the lacuna, which are those black sort of oval-like shapes. We have the Haversian canal right in the center. We have the canaliculi all the way around. And then we have the lacuna and the osteocytes, osteoclasts, and osteoblasts. All right, no, there it is. Sorry, I did include it. Okay, please draw this. This is so important. I like to ask this. It's a nice diagram to draw as well, and it will be for about 10 marks. So whenever we write exams again, if we write exams again this year, this will definitely be in there. I really do enjoy putting this in. Okay, so you got your cement layer right on the outside to just make sure everything stays inside. We have the lamella or bone layers. We have the Haversian canal, which is a central canal which has blood vessels, nerves, lymph vessels. We have the canaliculi, which are tiny canals containing cytoplasmic process of osteocytes. Okay, so they actually can put their cell membranes through there. And then we have the lacuna, which is a space for the osteocyte. Okay, nice and easy. One thing to draw, couple of things to recognize, and you need to know every single one of those layers, those labels. Okay, and then when we get back to school, someone please write this down, that I show you the difference between compact bone and spongy bone, and how they actually are different in long bones, like your femur. All right. Next, we'll be doing the 3 different types of muscles: cardiac, smooth, and skeletal or skeletal. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Good luck, great hands.